you know, sorry about that. Um, the fun just continues with the technology for me today. Um, uh, Sort of the importance, as we've talked about many times previously, that you know the EES efforts are well in play in the K-12 arena, and there are other areas that are also critical to broad implementation and scale around the state, including with the local workforce boards and the WorkSource Oregon system, including the important work that Jenny Newby's been leading at the community colleges. And we had conversations around how do we sustain that? What does that look like after the Strengthening Community College grant goes away? We don't want to lose the momentum and all that good work. So there was, you know, conversations around that. I think one of the things that also helped in the conversation was Charlie just asking, where, you know, where do you see things in 3 years? Where do you want things to be? So I got a sense from Charlie that, as he always does, wanting to really focus on proactive steps that we can take in our, you know, individual areas of interest and focus, but also, as I said, systems-wise. I think another important piece was Charlie talking a little bit about his conversations with the different agency heads. And not surprisingly, there seemed to be a lot of agreement in terms of the importance of essential skills. And, you know, Charlie also talked about some of the things that he and I have been chatting about and strategizing on in terms of integrating EES into the Talent Summit in May. I'll stop there, and somebody else please jump in.
Well, I just wanted to add one other thing. You know, we need to remember that this is a workforce readiness committee, and so far we've spent, you know, most of our time on both Sherry and Jenny's initiatives, which are the defined employability skills, but it is a broader sense than that. So as we move forward, we'll probably be initializing some other goals and objectives to what this committee is working on. So with that, any other comments from anybody who was there?
You know, I have one more.
Yeah, of course you do.
I just thought we did have a good conversation around the university piece. And
yes.
I think Jenny brought up the fact that she'd talked to folks at U of O. We did have, you know, Howard Burns with Oregon State University jump on the call the last time. So again, just underscoring the importance of sort of system-wide efforts being critical in this work, because all the way from the business community to the university system to K-12 and everybody in between, it resonates with everyone.
All right. Well, I'm going to move this right along. Next action item that we have.
It looks like Frosty has her hand up.
Oh, she does. Okay. Frosty, what have you got here for us?
So I just wanted to say, in regards to the alignment, Jerry and Shetty, no, Jenny and Sherry and I are going to be meeting tomorrow morning at 9 to get started on that alignment, seeing how they complement one another, what Jenny's doing and the Oregon employability skills. So we're moving ahead on that.
All right. Well, I'm going to move on to the next item, which is career and technical education. Shameless plug on my part. Again, ACTE conference, April 10th through 12th. And it is going to be packed. We've already got over 500 people already signed up for it. And any of you that have signed up, you've already gotten a little blast that went out about downloading the app for the event. It's all loaded on there. I noticed, Todd, you were on this morning. You updated your speaker profile, so wonderful. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. and it makes my job a lot easier, I will tell you. All right, well, Jenny, would you like to move on to the next item, which is the community college alignment?
Sure. I don't know that I realized that I was supposed to be. I just looked at the agenda and I was like, oh, I'm on it.
Why not?
So this will be a little bit ad lib. As Frosty was saying, we're gonna work together. We're meeting tomorrow to create a visual as best as we can to show the similarities and how they align the two systems, if you will, the two frameworks that are occurring. I think the biggest challenge, and I know Eric and Shali and Todd and I have been talking about where does the work of the community colleges, in particular with the employability skills, go after the grant ends? We have one more year. We're actually less than 1 year on the grant. And there are only 9 colleges out of the 17 that are part of the grant. So how do we expand? How do we sustain this work beyond the life of the grant? Talking about policy, potential for policy around badging and micro-credentials, thinking about those. But again, we have to kind of get at those definitions first, I think, as a collective. So I think that's where we are with that. Right now, I have 5 colleges piloting different badges within the employability skills framework. So I feel like that's exciting. And I'm aiming for all 9 in the spring, but it's
So
like herding cats.
let me ask a question about that,
Yeah.
Jenny. Once you've established kind of the boilerplate for the different programs you're working for right now, are they transferable?
100%. So the whole, we spent almost 1.5 years developing the framework, and it is a framework that can be embedded in any program, any career technical program, and actually it could be in transfer as well. I think these are employability skills serve all of our students. So yeah, it's
Eric,
not. Go ahead.
Question for you. You have your leadership meeting on Friday at the conference. And I know that one of the items is the PACE group that Carla is setting up that really is kind of a collaborative between all the, the leadership group and the community colleges. Is there any way of maybe talking about maybe that being an initiative to connect some of the community colleges together to share that program?
I've got to be honest, I'm not sure which group and meeting
You're
referring to.
There's a community college leadership group. I thought you were in that.
The community college CTE leaders group.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good connect point for sure. And I don't think I'm just privy to the calendar yet on that one. That's all. So
what I'm thinking of is as that group gets legs, because it is a division now of Oregon ACTE, it could be a conduit for you guys to have conversation and share those kinds of ideas and concepts to spread it beyond just the 5 pilots that Jenny's got going.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, thank you for that.
All right. Anything else you want to add to that, Jenny?
I don't think so. I think I'm good. Yeah, thank you.
And I'm assuming on the agenda there, Todd, the advisory, business engagement advisory committees, is that the open session on Wednesday at Oregon ACTE that Sherry's heading up?
I don't recall. I remember Charlie sort of talking about that in the planning call that you and he had. And oh, by the way, Charlie's out on vacation. That's why he's not here today, in case any of you wondered. But in truth,
I thought I was doing a good job.
That there was a good plan.
That was kind of an undercut on my leadership here, Todd.
No, it was not meant in that way at all.
I'm kidding.
He strongly believes in your ability to co-lead this committee, and he just wanted to make sure that there was a solid plan, as he always, does. So I think if I remember right, Tom, we were just talking about business engagement generally, and that there was an opportunity, he thought, for leaning into the CTE advisory committees generally around EES, but then also, of course, at Octay as well.
So to that extent, I'd like Sherry to talk a little bit about that Wednesday session, which is exactly that topic. And I know Tony's going to be there and a few others. And I would encourage any of you, in fact, either Frosty or Sherry, if you drop in that link to the registration for people, for anybody who has maybe a business contact they might want to forward that to. We're looking for business engagement right now, and it's starting to grow. So any of your business partners that you may have, and especially if they're on your advisories, we'd like to have them be able to show up. So Sherry, with that, if you would talk a little bit about what you're going to be, you and your panel and Charlie are going to be doing on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so on Wednesday, it's a pretty good solid group of folks. It's going to move pretty fast. I don't think anybody has more than 10 minutes on this schedule. I certainly don't. I think I have 5. But we are starting with Charlie, and he's going to give kind of the opener on that. We are going to talk about how to infuse employability skills into advisory groups and kind of bring that relevance into CTE classrooms. And so the folks that are speaking largely are industry folks. And then we also are going to talk about, industry chats, projects, all the different things that our advisory partners can be doing that industry and education can be doing together. And that's just a real quick meeting in the morning. It's about 2 hours going through that. So they'll go away with some handouts and things like that. And so we are hoping, I will get that into the link as soon as I can, but I couldn't talk and find it. So I'll get that in the link for you, but we are hoping to have more industry partners there. We do have an optional session in the afternoon that's being run by John Hickey. We have a number of people that have asked about the student learner experience and how to get involved, how to write those experiences out in a way that BOLI approves them. And John's had tremendous success. So John will be running that meeting in the afternoon, 1 to 3, for any of the industry partners. It is more geared for industry partners to have that conversation. And I know that he's already got some folks from ODOT, some insurance and surety folks that are coming because there's a lot of interest around learning that process. So he'll be sharing on that in the afternoon. So that's also on the registration.
Well,
Sherry, I dropped that in while you were talking.
Thank you.
Oh, you did. Yeah, just FYI, the registration talks about whether or not you're interested in attending the afternoon, but it doesn't necessarily sign you up. I got one email from somebody who says, I want to go to the afternoon session. How do I do it? And I just said, show up. So all I have to do is sign up one time and you're in for the whole day if you want to do it. So it should be pretty good. I will tell you this right now, that pre-session, and there's some other things going on concurrently, but for the main part, this is the general session. There is another CTE session going on in a separate room that's quite smaller, but we have over 200 people already signed up to show up. So it's going to be interactive. There's a lot of folks that are going to be there. So yeah, encourage more business. I think we have, I think Tony, you got either 2 or 3 people you're bringing with you. Yeah. So I saw that on the list. There's probably about 15 or 20 business representatives right now signed up. So the more the merrier, the more we can get involved and get down the road on this thing. So thanks for putting that in there. And we'll be looking forward to see some of your folks be there. So Frosty, you're next up on the agenda. Kick us off on employability skills and where you're at and what you're doing.
So coming up this week, tomorrow, meeting with Jenny on alignment. And then on Friday, Todd arranged for me to meet with Jim Farr from OED, not ODE, on just talking about where the employment office is or department is on employability skills. They've expressed interest in pursuing more employability skills. So we're going to have a meeting on Friday. And most of my time has been revolving around helping Sherry get more things into the Oregon employability skills, as far as curriculum and just organizational things, a lot of proofreading involved. And so I'm just going to hand it on over to her because she's got the PowerPoint and she's looking concerned right now. There. Okay, all right. See, it shouldn't be a surprise, Sherry. We just talked about this.
No, it's no surprise, but that was the wrong link, Frosty. So I was sending it to Amy Calder. So she can put it in Google and maybe send out the link while I'm trying to talk, because I felt like I'm just multitasking too much here. I think the link you sent, at least when I picked it up, was to Oregon ACTE, and I believe Tom wanted the sign up for the pre-session. So that's the
Right.
one that Amy's
Yeah.
going, got it. So she'll maybe move it into Google, put that link in for you guys while I do this. So yes, I am going to
Well,
start with.
I was rapidly taking notes on what Tom wanted when he told me to do that. So I need to
Totally get
multitask
it.
better.
Totally get it. Yeah. So let me, I'm going to share my screen and we'll see which screen I get here because I'm not as skilled at this as some people are. Here we go. So this is a draft video, and Frosty, if you want to say anything about this, please go ahead and do so.
Oh, I'm showing the video first. So this is rough draft, and part of what I've been doing this morning is looking at the raw footage again to see how we can enhance this or swap it out or see if what we have is good. So go ahead, Vanna, and roll them.
It's interesting when we talk about employability skills because I look at those as foundational to somebody's ability to be able to be successful, utilizing perhaps their technical skills. The first of which is communication.
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 Communication is a really important skill. We all communicate, and probably a lot of problems that happen at work for people are because communication isn't going well.
The other one is collaboration.
Collaboration.
In collaboration.
Collaboration, because we do things so many times in teams. Our best product is actually when we're collaborating with each other.
Analysis solution mindset. You have to be a problem solver and be able to understand complex solutions.
Digital literacy is something that, I mean, that's the world we live in today. Kids think that they know how to use technology, but there's a lot of other technology around them that they may not understand.
Resilience.
And resiliency. There can be a lot of things thrown at you at once, and each day is different. So being agile, being able to adapt to those challenges is really important.
Entrepreneurial mindset.
Entrepreneurial mindset, right? Like we need kids that aren't just there to punch in and punch out and get a paycheck, right? Part of succeeding in any industry is understanding the different parts of that industry.
Empathy and social diversity. What's our culture? How do we share that with people? And how do we relate to and respect other cultures, and then bring those skills and knowledge and talents that we all have differently together for the good of the common goal?
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness, self-awareness.
Self-aware and understand what your strengths and weaknesses are and have a goal of where you want to grow is a core value of ours.
Adaptability.
Ability to adapt.
Adaptability.
We're training kids today for jobs that we don't know will exist.
I see Oregon employability skills supporting our students in their future work goals because this is what employers need.
So our students actually have a foot up.
they're already coming into the door with the language and they understand what they are. And I think that's really exciting. They're working on skills that are life skills. These are skills that they're going to need to be successful in and out of organ employability skills classes.
I am really excited for how they're able to help students grow and how students are able to connect with the skills and see themselves succeeding.
I mean, that's the burning question, right? When we think about, gosh, how do we do this? How do we teach these skill sets to young people in a way that it sticks, that it sinks in, that they can actually utilize it and apply it when they enter the workforce? And organ employability skills has packaged everything you need to make that happen.
Okay, I'll go to another share screen here. I'm not sure I accomplished that yet, so give me a second. I'm not really good at this whole piece of it. There we go. Okay. Oh, and it started at the end. Give me 1 second, see if I can't get this back to the beginning. Well, I'll do it the old-fashioned way. Scroll through it. Thanks for bearing with me. I don't do very well on this platform like I do on Zoom. So just a reminder that Oregon Employability Skills is out there to connect the talent pipeline with the workforce. Wanted to remind you that we do have elementary, middle school work readiness curriculum, and soon we will have our e-learning platform. You guys have heard me talk about this before, but when I'm training, I always talk about the ability to use the plug and play curriculum as well as to use it in an integrated learning model. Some of the key elements, just again, sort of as a reminder, because I talk about these, but not necessarily in a larger presentation, but we've tried to put key elements into organ employability skills to help students, especially that might have different abilities in terms of how they learn. And so we try to give them a lot of prompts along the way. We do have a platform that is going to be overlaid on the website shortly here, I believe probably by the end of the month, that will allow students to change the colors, the backgrounds, and a lot of different things to help students with disabilities. So that's being put in there. One of the things I'm most proud of that I've already shared with many of you is that we have video content from industry partners and then aligned activities. Super excited, and I'm also hearing from a lot of teachers how excited they are for us to have this finally integrated in the curriculum. We have a lot of resources, posters. We even have some projects in there that could be jumped off and done by teachers that would like to dive into a particular skill. Now I'm going to go over to the website. Again, I have to stop sharing, so hold on. Hold on, I'll try not to make you all dizzy. Here we go. Here's our new share. And here we are at Oregon Employability Skills website. So on the website, I'm going to talk mainly today about this educator space over here. I'm going to go to middle school first. And we have a new look in here from the last time I showed you guys. I really like it. Emily's doing an amazing job. So you can see that they can go in and look for the curriculum. You'll see right away that this curriculum comes in English, Spanish, and Russian, completely translated, all the handouts, everything. We do have a small packet in these additional languages down here, which is Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, Ukrainian, and Vietnamese. That can help support students and give them something to maybe take home, have a conversation with their family. So they'll be able to get that information. They've got an overview. These overviews also click to CTE standards and SEL standards. So there's lots of things jam-packed in here to give educators the things that they might need. These are all the handouts. Our handouts are also linked in the PowerPoints, so it makes it really easy for teachers just to move from one thing to another when they're inside the curriculum. And I go back out here. And let's see here. Just hit another one here and see, that's the overview. If you click on the top part, you're going to get everything. So people are going to be able to see that once they get into here, they're going to be, and you're seeing my view. They don't see everything over there on the right. That's just because I own all this curriculum, so to speak. But every lesson has its own set of materials in there in terms of lesson plans, handouts, and things like that. Again, when you go to the PowerPoint presentation, if a handout is used, it's going to be linked inside the curriculum. So if a teacher needs to show something, they're going to be able to pull it up right away. So we've tried to think of as many things as we could to just support teachers that are doing this work. I'm going to go back now to the work readiness curriculum. And this one doesn't have the same look as the other, but it's coming. And also the translations are being done, and we should be getting those before too long. I'm into the work readiness one, showing you the PowerPoint presentation. We start with a skills connection on top, and that gives them the traits. This is what a teacher could use for loading information with students that need a little bit more time to move into a lesson. We have the I can statements in here, relevant terms. We always have a pre-assessment. It's very small. It takes just a few moments to do, but we feel like it's a really good idea to get students thinking. Then we move into the trait. In trait number 1, there's a little bit of information, followed by our first video in here is GK machines. Trevor, you see, I'm actually going to play just a little bit of this. I think it's important for you to see it.
We have a very diverse team of people here, engineers with electrical experience, hydraulics experience. We design our own control systems and manifolds. My name is Trevor Sheck. I'm a mechanical engineer here at GK Machine. We've worked on projects for the Navy, for marine industries, for train and locomotive applications, clients that are small, large.
So the idea here is that a student really gets to peek inside the door to a different company. They get to learn a little bit about what's going on in that company. And Trevor, he kind of narrows this down to the fact that he takes phone calls, and from that he has to design pieces of machinery to do some work. So you'll see what we do. The activity is the student listens to a phone call. If they click on this phone here, a phone call will come up. They'll listen to it. They'll be able to use this scope of work, which is also in here. So in other words, you can pull it out, you can print it for students ahead of time. They're going to be putting information on this document. We've stayed true to company documents where we can, because it's pretty hard to argue that that's not relevant when you're actually using the document from the company. After the students listen to the phone call and take some notes, they're challenged to think about what are the next 3 questions you'd need to ask the customer in order to do this. So in about 20 minutes, you've brought a student into a company, you've given them a viewpoint around what, and some visuals around what people in that company are doing. You've given them an opportunity to do a task that they do quite often. And so I'll move down here quickly. We keep going down. There's a summary. There's a career connected learning space here. This is done 40 times throughout the curriculum. We've worked with Oregon CIS to create these really nice user guides because we want students to be able to use things for themselves. So if a student needs to create a resume, which now they're now calling a career bio, they can go on here and they can see right how to get into Oregon CIS and create that. They can also do that with interviewing here. So anytime there's a checkpoint, we're giving them access to information so they can move ahead. Then they tell their story. So the student is going to have to tell their story of how they are using analysis solution mindset to solve a problem. They get into trait 2. They move through trait 2. We've got Frere's engineered woods in here. And then the student does an activity like they've just described. So again, an activity that is related to it. I'm going to go down and show you one more. The next one for analysis solution mindset is Oaks Amusement Park. They check their equipment 3 times every morning before anybody gets on it. So our students are going to use the actual State of Oregon amusement ride inspection report, and they are going to play with some data, and they are going to learn how to think about things in terms of what's urgent, what's a restriction, what's a concern, and what's a note. Again, they're going to go into the summary. They're going to have some career-connected learning. And this one, it shows them that they could be doing a little bit of research. And then it's going to have the tell the story. I should back up here for a second. We do include, oh, I don't know the number right offhand, but it's probably about somewhere between 15 and 20 career journeys are also embedded in Oregon employability skills. We also have a workbook that students can use to follow along that gives them all the information that's in this PowerPoint. So in essence, if they wanted to go back and look at any of this, they would be able to do that. I'm going to go back now to the PowerPoint. And I'm sorry, this is so wonky, but it's really the only way I know how to do it. So are you seeing the PowerPoint, Frosty? You're the only one I can see, so I'll need a thumbs up if you can.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you were in the middle school, were you going to show an avatar?
It's coming up.
You kind of,
Yeah,
okay.
thank you. Yeah, so I wanted to go over the badging system. Again, really high level here. Oh, I need to go to sharing it this way. So we have always had the academic badge, which is fourth or second from the right, and then the industry recognized badge. But we now have learner badges because as of June this year, we will have this curriculum all the way down to elementary. We've gotten the funding for that, so we're moving on that. So these learner badges are done a little bit differently. They're not at the same level as an academic badge. The student, well, I'll explain it in a second because there's another page coming up. I'm getting ahead of myself. So the academic badge can be done through a Google form assessment, and then the badge can be given by Badger through their Badger platform. If a school uses Canvas, there is a Badger app because many of you probably know this, but Canvas actually now owns Badger. So it's really easy to, if somebody wanted the assessments from me, I would send them an IMSCC file. They would embed that right into Canvas, and then they would be able to give the badges right from that platform. For the learner badges, we're doing an auto-graded assessment because we feel that at that level, it's not really a problem to do that. And so it's going to be largely based on things like vocabulary and the traits. It will also be available in Google and Canvas for folks to have. This is also a poster. This is the one that's going out to Ferris Engineered Woods. So as you saw, GK and some of those other companies will be sending this out to them. This will go in their company if they choose to put it up. I hope they do. And then we have a generic one that can just be picked up, if we're at an event or something like that. If they want something that's just generic, we have that. And we're also thinking about making these for many of our schools. For the avatar, unfortunately, I have to go out of here again. This is fun, at least for me. And I will pull up the avatar. The avatar only shows in PowerPoint. Okay, can you see the PowerPoint, Frosty?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go up to, here to the beginning and show you how this works. So I'll actually go up here.
Hi, I'm Allie. Welcome to the Oregon Employability Skills. I'm going to learn about problem solving and having an analysis solution mindset with you.
Okay, so Remy is still working on these, but it's
There are
a pretty good
four
example.
core traits to having an analysis solution mindset. I'll know I understand problem solving when I can look at information from different points of view to better understand what's being said. I can notice the problems around me and think about ways to solve them. I can see ways very different information is connected and think critically about what I see. I can take the time to think about and test different ways to solve problems.
Okay, and another thing that our avatar does is our avatar answers questions and gives examples. Oops, that's not the right one.
Just to stay on track, Sherry, you got about 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm on
Right.
my last thing, so I don't. Oh, here we go.
Here's Snow White from the perspective of Grumpy. Once upon a time, this princess came crashing into our house. We were all at work, but I guess she does not have a job because she just showed up and touched all of our stuff and cleaned everything like she was our mom or something. Maybe we wanted those dishes stacked like that. And then she took fruit from a stranger. But I guess her parents never taught her how dangerous that is. So she ate it, and it was poison, and we all thought she was dead. It was the scariest and saddest thing that ever happened. But she wasn't really dead, thank goodness, just sleeping really soundly. Whew.
Okay, so the students are being asked to retell the story of Snow White from various perspectives, from the huntsman, from the queen, from the stepmother. So in this way, you can see that an example is given by the avatar that helps the student move into thinking about doing that. So a lot of times we do give them examples, and it really helps them move in just a lot faster and enjoy the process. So those are some of the big takeaways right now on where we're at. And I'll leave it there and see if Frosty wants to add anything else.
You've been
I just
busy.
wondered if there's any questions. Tom, I'm looking at the thing and it says we have till 11:55.
I am leaving time for Todd to talk.
Okay, question and answers. Okay, then.
I think.
Good
We
explanation,
got
Sherry.
Casey has something.
It looks like Casey has something.
Hi, this is amazing. And I'd seen the power or the Google materials. And so first off, I'm very excited about this. I come from the private sector, built trainings, did a lot of hiring. And anyways, I'm very excited about this. I was wondering, you know, I understand why the titles of each of the essential employability skills are the way they are. I was wondering if it mentioned in there around analysis solution mindset can also be known as problem solving. I was wondering how the materials address that. Not every employer might call it the same thing, or not every learner might know it as the same way, but what they are essentially learning is problem solving so that they don't, you know, I guess, compartmentalize those things.
Yeah, so Casey, when we say analysis solution mindset, we also have a functional term next to it, which actually says problem solving. And we do that for all of them because we talk about mindsets a lot in education, whereas you're right, in industry, they don't talk about it that way. So on most of our material, it's going to say both. And in the curriculum, we are tying, that's definitely in there all throughout.
Todd, you have something. I can't hear you. Do you need to call in again? I don't know if we lost you or not.
Poor Todd.
Write it on a piece of paper and hold it up.
Todd, maybe you want to add something in the chat.
Well, I see your phone numbers there.
It looks like his phone number's muted.
I
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Wow. So the question I had, sorry about all this technical wonderfulness, sort of relates to where Casey went a little bit. Clay and I were just sharing some thoughts as we watched the video, and we're wondering, as you, Frosty, talk with people like Jim Farr, hopefully Casey and other folks in the workforce space, and then with Jenny, we were sort of wondering if Sherry or Frosty, you had a sort of a, I guess, gut call on how big of a lift it might be once this curriculum is done and ready to go, to adapt it for use, say, at the community college level, or for the WorkSource Oregon centers, or for the universities. Some of it seems like it would be a little bit more of a lift, and some of it seems like it would apply straight across. I know that's probably a hard question to answer at this point, but it just occurred to me.
It's not, Todd. I'll tell you why. Because we have 5 community colleges already using it, and they have done some adapting. We have, as I mentioned before, Oregon State outdoor school it's being adapted for. We have a lot of partners already doing this adapting. And then I'm going to be doing another training with Lindsay at WorkSource Portland here in about another month. And so we do sit down with folks, and we've worked with Matt talking about Trio. So we work with folks all the time and talk about adapting it in the same way that we did when we started with the adaptation for PGE. So, and a lot of times it's pictures for apprenticeships. They wanted to see pictures of apprentices. With outdoor school, they want to see some more pictures of people outdoors and things like that. But we got a report back from OSU outdoor schools, and they were like, you know what, this is so generic. We don't feel like we need a lot of adaptations. And we allow people to add things. It's just, that's our model. We know that they need to be able to do that, and we will help them do that as well. So I don't know if it Ross,
Awesome. Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to add that, remember what the videos, the most robust is the middle school curriculum right now. Thank you to ODE, Beth, for funding all of those wonderful things that we were able to do. The work readiness, which is 16 and up, is less robust, but way more adaptable. So I was watching some of the raw footage earlier, and Amy Calder was talking about working in the Learning Resource Center and having someone doing the communication thing. So we intentionally have made it so if an instructor has the desire or the need, they can scale it down, scale it up, take different pieces of it, apply it to a specific scenario or a specific student. So it's intentionally adaptable. One of our traits, adaptability.
Any other questions and comments?
Jenny
has a question.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I
Jenny.
mean, just to Todd's point, I guess I'm gonna I don't know the word I want to use. So I think, our meeting tomorrow is going to be really helpful, because I really am concerned, and that's not quite the right word, 'cause concern seems really way more dramatic, but that OES is in community colleges, and yet we have 9 community colleges that spend a year and a half developing an employability skills framework that actually extends beyond what you've developed. It's the criteria is, it takes where you were and goes further with it. And so again, I don't have the resources to develop curriculum in the way that you all have been able to, or videos and all of that. That's something I think, hopefully the HEC might take on in the future, or maybe not. But I guess I just am like, I feel like that's just always the play that goes on in Oregon, is sort of this, I feel like we're siloed again a little bit, and I'm just trying to figure out where, at which community colleges, and in what ways are they using OES? Is it in, because I guess I'm just going to express that
Jenny,
again. I'm not sure what to do about it. So
I actually think it's great. Here's the reason why, because I think you really did build on top of, and your curriculum really addresses and fits some of those needs. But where, and this might give you some answers and a little relief, like Treasure Valley uses it in their TANF programs, because a lot of the community colleges have a lot of extra programs, right? That starting with your level of curriculum probably wouldn't be the right level for TANF or GED program where they're trying to help students get their GED. So we see a lot of that. We do see it in some CWE. And then we have people that aren't doing manufacturing or cybersecurity, which is where you guys started, although I get your point, it could be adapted, that said, well, we don't have anything, we want something, can we use this? And so we go, yeah, give it a try, see if it works for you. So I think after we meet tomorrow, if we can make that graphic you're describing and we can really show that, it might be such a natural place in the community college for some folks to take it and go, hey, I got to start here, but I'm going to move it then to here. So I think there really is room for both of those things there. But we even have some high school teachers that will even dip down into some of the middle school because they're trying to hit a certain student who needs that scaffolding piece of it. So again, I think that when we get together, we'll be able to create that graphic that will help people to find where the best place for them is.
No, I appreciate that, Sherry. I think we just need to have our conversation and keep going on that. Because I think there's a lot of space for collaboration. And then I think that, again, I'm in conversations with some staff from the HEC about like, where does this go? Is there policy conversations that need to be had about digital badging and micro-credentialing in general? And then where does our framework fit into that? And I think it's really hard because I'm not, I love it because I'm an Oregonian. We do this, everything we do it our way. But so we tend to go out the gate, like I do it too, like, woo, it's exciting. And then we don't really land on our definitions of things. And so like defining what the difference between a micro-credential and a digital badge, I think we need to land there somewhere in Oregon as a state, collaboratively. How do we do that?
I think, Jenny,
yeah.
what you guys are touching on right now is the sole reason for the existence of this committee.
It's true.
and seriously, that was one of the reasons why Todd and Charlie and I kind of laid this all out, is that we knew this was going on and we needed to establish a dialogue between all the parties that were dealing with it so that it's successful at all levels. And that doesn't mean at the exclusion of anybody. That means at the inclusion of everyone, so that we get a positive, robust result in what we're looking for. Because ultimately, you got to deliver this to the employers. Because if the employers don't recognize what you're doing, then all you're doing is creating another box to check that nobody recognizes. So it's very helpful that you have that dialogue, that you continue to develop going forward, and figure out where you all land and how that integrates with each other and not competes with each other. So that's my 2 cents worth as to, I think you guys are going forward and there's going to be some rough spots to work through, and I know you'll do it. So any other comments? Todd, I'm going to turn it over to you then to talk about the summit.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the Talent Summit is on May 14th and 15th. It will be at the Salem Convention Center. We're going to do a day and a half to 2 days, depending on programming. We do have our 2 keynotes for day 1 and day 2 confirmed. The first day will be Romanita Hairston, who's the CEO of the Murdoch Foundation. They're a pretty large and going concern that was founded by the actual founder of Tektronix. So maybe some of you know about her and the Murdoch Foundation. We're excited to have her. And then on the second day, we have President Murdy from Oregon State University. We're going to have a theme of not business as usual. We'll have 4 tracks. The 4 tracks will be on business engagement, youth, future ready Oregon, and data and policy. And as you can imagine, or you might imagine, there is one person in particular who wants to bring the work of this committee, particularly EES and OES, into the Talent Summit. So the way we have it planned right now, it's not all set in stone yet, but it is evolving pretty quickly, is that there will be a main stage panel that will focus on business engagement and employability skills. And then there also is a planned session that Charlie Hope will lead around programming and design of that session on employability skills. We've talked about a number of things that we're sort of batting around idea-wise, but there's definitely space for I think sort of what I touched on earlier, systems alignment around these efforts to be seen, talked about, and sort of embraced with the business and employer community that will be at the Talent Summit. So I'll stop there. We look forward to you coming and being there and being involved in the sessions, and there'll be an opportunity to network and share and learn, and so it should be a good 2 days. Clay's been saying it may be the best talent summit ever, so I'm not trying to like set the expectations too high, but it is sort of shaping up to be a pretty good one. And I think a lot of that is because we've expanded to 2 days, and now we'll have the opportunity to have a lot more breakout sessions. It looks like about a dozen of those over the 2 days. So we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks, Tom.
Great. Is there anything else anybody wants to add before we all part?
When will the information about the summit be live so people can sign up?
It's already sort of materializing on Whova as well. So I think we want to have the rough agenda by March 15th. So you should see more and more. It will probably eke out slowly as opposed to, come together in final form, Jenny, in the next couple of weeks, because as you know, these things have so many people involved, so many conversations happening. But we do have a great event manager that we have contracted with, and she's running point on all of that. So yeah, you'll be seeing a lot more soon.
Great. Well, we're right on schedule. We didn't take any additional time from you. So again, Casey, you have to show up next time because now you're locked in for life. Anyway, thank you all for showing up today, and I hope to see you guys all at the Oregon ACTE conference in April. We'll talk to you soon. See you later.